We now have the net attached to the hoop. We know that the direction of the net is parallel to the direction of the screw of the hoop, so we have a reference point. Our next step now is to attach a pattern that we want to work, and I have the pattern here. It's a flower on tracing paper, and I will attach it to the back of the hoop. And I will attach it with pins. There's different ways to do that. Some people suggest to use thread and needle and actually tack the paper pattern onto the net. And if you have a big project that will take you a long time, that might be a good idea to do. Personally, I prefer to just pin it on with needles. And I first pin it on the front. And then I turn it around and pin it on the back. The reason for this is that if I leave my needles on the front, when I start my embroidery, the thread tends to catch in the pins. So it is advisable to pin it from the back. But you can start out by pinning it from the front first, so it can be easier to see whether it is the way you want it to be. You probably can see the needle underneath. So I like to have this in the direction of the hoop. And I can take this needle out. And here we go. Now, my next step is to thread the needle. And the first thing I will do the outline in a running stitch. And I want to have to start and stop as few times as possible, because it's kind of hard to effectively hide the beginnings and the ends of your thread so that they're not noticeable. You're working with a net, so you see through it. With other embroidery, you're working on a solid fabric, so you don't really have a problem with hiding your ends of threads. But as you're working on a net background, that's something you have to consider. So in order to get a fairly long run, I figured I can start with a leaf. And if I start at the tip here, I can work my way down here, back up, back down, and go all the way here. Now I can make this a bit thicker, and then simply go back up and go all the way to the blossom, and then get the blossom done. Or alternatively, when I reach down here, I can go up here and do this part of the flower. And then, well, it looks I'll definitely have to do 2 lots. But it's a good start if I start here, go here, 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 and then this part. That's a fairly good run for your first try. Now, what I do, because it's an outline, I double my thread. So here's my thread, and I work with a double thread. And that has a few reasons. I could do my outline with a thicker thread, that like a number 40, which would be roughly as thick as double a number 50. But working with a double thread has other advantages that I will show you in a minute. The length of the thread doubled up. Some people say from your fingertips to your elbow. That's up to you. I like mine slightly longer. But in this case, considering how far I have to go, I think that's probably a good beginning. So I cut my thread. I have here the double ends. And I go here to where the loop is to thread my needle. I like smallish needles, but I like them to have a decent sized eye because it makes the threading easier. Okay, so here is the loop going through the needle, and now I pull it. I use this loop as the end of my thread, and you will see in a minute why. So I pull it all the way to here. And now I make a knot into it, and I think it used to be called a governor's knot. Hold the thread here, wrap it around your finger, so basically you make a knot at the very end of your eye of your needle. And the tail that's hanging off, you can make it shorter. It has the advantage that the thread doesn't come out of the eye of your needle.